everybody's in bed, it is bedtime, and I thought I would come on and sort of give a little look into how 2025 has went with my horse riding journey. So at the start of the year, it really started with like no confidence. I had recently started this new school and found an instructor that was really good, and I really felt comfortable with her. She really listened, and it might sound a little weird, but I felt like she treated me like a child learning for the first time. It's something I've found as an adult that people expect you to just know it and be comfortable and be confident, and it's not as simple as that. So I really felt comfortable with her, and she managed to change something in my mindset and make me comfortable to attempt cantering. And it was really unfortunate actually, because I remember there was this one time, the one thing that really changed my mindset with this was she made me close my eyes when I was trotting on this horse. And I don't know, something just switched. I think it was like, oh my god, I can trust these animals, and that really helped a lot. And then after that, I felt comfortable that she was going to support me with cantering a horse, and I was on lead rope, and she really helped me a lot, and I concentrated on holding onto the saddle and the neck strap and stuff like that, so I didn't have to focus on steering the horse. That was her responsibility, and it really went really well. And then unfortunately something happened and she didn't come back to the stables. And then there was other instructors that came in. I struggled a little bit to trust. It's quite frustrating, I think, when places swap and change instructors all the time, because like you feel as if you've got to start a few steps back every time, and that can be a little bit difficult. And I did manage to keep pushing at the canter, and it's not something as simple as people make out. It's not as easy as trotting, I find. Like, it's really difficult to sit the trot and press the button for canter, and it's a big struggle. And I think because I was scared of doing it for so long, when I was eventually ready to give it another go, it's like, oh my god, but why isn't it working? And it was really frustrating. But yeah, we managed to figure it out, and all things seemed to go well. And then I found out about the lesson horse that I was on. She was coming up for loan, and I was really, really excited about it. I really enjoyed her. She was um a willing horse, but would also come back to you the second you asked. And it's something that I really enjoy with horses. I like horses that will go forward, but if you do want them to come back, they will, rather than the horses where you are constantly kicking them in order to move forward. I don't particularly like them that much. But yeah, I loaned this horse, and I loaned this horse for about 3 months. Everything was going great at the start, let me say, because I've actually wrote things down. Just to make sure I'm letting you know everything. So yeah, I loaned the horse for 3 months, and the first 2 months were really good. I really, really, really enjoyed it. But then I don't know, something quite traumatic happened at the stables, and I got a phone call from the owner and was told you're not allowed to share anything on social media about it. You're not allowed to talk about it, and I never did. But from that moment, like, things changed with the people that were there. You know, like when you just feel as if like whisperings are going on behind your back and stuff like that. That all happened, and at the start, before I had even considered loaning a horse, I was told that the loan was going to be a certain price for a certain amount of days and a lesson. And then it was no, then from a different instructor close at the time, it's like, no, it's going to be the same amount of money, the same amount of days, but they don't know about the lesson. And I was like, right, that's fair enough. I'm okay to pay extra for the lesson. And then when it came to actually loaning the horse, it was no lesson and it was a day less. And it's like, right, okay, fair enough. And then I went ahead with the loan horse, and I'm pretty sure it was either the first day of the loan horse or the second day of the loan horse. I was told I could come on that extra day that was said by the other instructors. So I was like, right, okay, that's ideal, amazing. And then on the third month, I was told that that day was no longer available. And I just felt as if like things, like when just things get stacked up on each other and stuff like that. I've never actually spoken about this, so I feel maybe a little bit of like weights off my shoulders because I shouldn't have to keep these secrets because it's facts. But yeah, I felt as if like people had stopped speaking to me. There was days when I wasn't allowed to even go in the field to get the horse because it didn't want to come in. So I couldn't ride them days. With like no explanations, no attempts. It was just no, she's not coming in. And then I got the message saying we're going to have to lower the day because she's doing extra lessons basically, and they need to think about her workload. And it's like, right, well, I'll just go back to the lessons. I felt as if like I just wasn't getting the value for money anymore. And I'll never forget that day was also the day that I was taking my daughter up for like a lesson and she could groom the horse. Bear in mind I had already took her to this place for this sort of thing before, and it was so different. It was so friendly, and she could tuck up to the stables and everything like that, whereas this time it wasn't even that. She was walked around the arena, and then all of the brushes came into the arena so she could brush the horse, and I just felt as if I was not welcome there anymore. And I hadn't actually responded to the owner yet at this point, so it was nothing to do with the fact that I had said I'm not doing it anymore. And then anyways, the loan cancelled and I was gutted. I was devastated because I loved that horse. I really did. I just felt as if it was going to go great. And I think something else that really confused me as well is a few weeks prior, like month 2 in a loan, and I was told that by the end of the year, I'm sure it was by the end of the year, that they were going to put this horse out on for loan. This horse was called Willow, and she was going to go out on full loan. She would be my full responsibility. I could take her to competitions and everything like that. And to go from that to be like, no, we're taking a day off here, it was just like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. So I made the really disappointing decision to say, like, you know what, fair enough. I'll step back. And I decided to go back to a riding school that I had really started my journey on. But I was really nervous about going there because this is where I had my first fall on this horse. And I was just nervous. The horses were a lot different. All the other horses that I'd been on, they were very much like ex-race horses, younger horses, horses that were willing to go. And that frightened me a little bit. I was used to like the cobs and stuff like that, the slower paced horses. And then I went back there, really improved on my cantering actually. I went on my first hack there, and that was terrifying. But it was something that needed to be done, and that was absolutely fine. And then loans were coming up, and I just missed out a little bit because of time on whether or not I was going to get this loan horse. Somebody else had put their name forward first, and all of that, and the loan horses there never really come about, which then led to me trying somewhere else, just change of pace, something a little bit closer to me as well. And I managed to find a really cool group lesson. Let me see, I'm making sure I haven't changed anything. So yeah, I changed to this new place which was local to me, and that was recently. Can't think of times, but it wasn't that long ago. Maybe I've been there a couple of months now, and it was really good. I managed to find a group lesson there which was hilarious, and it really helped my confidence a lot. It helped me just enjoy horses for the company more than the horses, if that makes sense, because the horses aren't wonderful there. They don't tend to want to go fast, some of them, but it was a good laugh. It was good fun, and everybody was so supportive, and that was great. It was great to just go and just have a laugh, you know. I also dying to own a horse and to loan a horse. Well, own, but realistically, I probably couldn't have owned at that point. So I put out an advert on Facebook to see if there was any like loans available, and somebody come back to me and said yes, they've got a loan. It was for 3 days a week. It was a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. But it was a little bit far, and I was like, right, we can try it out. We can see what happens. And I was also still going to the riding school as well, so I was able to do the two things. So riding 4 times a week. I went there for 2 weeks. I'm sure it was. I'm sure maybe 3. The first time I got on their horse and went on a hack, it was just hacking basically. I was terrified, so terrified. But I'm so thankful for that place because it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. It really got me onto the next stage of confidence and just passing, you know, like sometimes you really need to be pushed in order to achieve something. That is sort of what that done. The hack was terrifying. They were very much a hacking group, and unfortunately on the Wednesdays I didn't really feel comfortable going out on hacks because I needed to be close to the car if I needed to get home. So I hacked on the Monday and the Friday, and then I went in the arena on the Wednesdays, and I also went to the school, riding school, in between that. And I really was hopeful. I really was. Even though it was far, I was really hopeful, but something came up with my son and it really threw a spanner in the works. Typically, every time I've loaned a horse, something like that has happened, which is a little bit annoying, but I think sometimes these things happen for a reason. So I couldn't keep going. It wasn't practical. It wasn't going to work because she wanted me there at certain points in the day and everything like that, and which was absolutely fine, but it's not really something that I was able to do. So I called it quits on that one, and then still went to that riding school. And on Facebook just the other day, literally just the other day, I seen a post, and it was somebody advertising a horse near me, and I was like, all right, okay, that would be cool. Didn't think anything of it. It was, I think it might have been the next day, another post came up, and then this person commented on it and said, I've got this horse available, and it's like, there's no harm in just going to try. So I am in the process of potentially having this horse on like a full loan type thing. So I've spent this week with him, and it all seems to be going okay. He seems to be canny, and this weekend I'm going to ride him, and that is going to be the decision maker on whether or not I'm going to go ahead with him. But I'm a little nervous because he hasn't actually done much work. But a few people who I've spoken to have said he's absolutely fine. He's never put a foot wrong. He's never bucked. He's never reared. He's quite a slow horse, and if he spooks, he'll stop more than run off. So it's like, right, okay, maybe this is something that I can go ahead with. And yeah, that is sort of where we're at as of December. I feel like it's been such a hectic year. A lot has gone on, and I've really, really tried in order to have some sort of like full-term horse situation. And yeah, that is how we're going to end it. So fingers crossed we are going to go into next year with some sort of full-term horse type thing. But yeah, keep your fingers crossed. That is everything that's happened this year. the one thing I'm really glad about is the fact that I've managed to really build up my confidence in the canter. I'm a little nervous about this new horse though, because I don't want to go backwards. That scares me a little bit. But I'm trying not to think about the negatives and trying to think about all the things that I can do. I am able to do these things. The school that I've just left, the horses are booked and reared, and I was absolutely fine. So it's just trusting the process and trusting my gut. It's something I've learned this year, is trust your gut. If something feels off, then trust it. Don't react on it straight away. I will add that in. Don't react on it straight away, but trust your gut. Give it time, and if it still doesn't feel right, it's okay to walk away. But before my phone switches off, which it's gonna do, thank you so much for listening to this long video. I think this might be the last video of the year, and then next year, but it's gonna be a fresh start, hopefully with a new horse. Like I said, I'm sorry I'm in my dramas with my Christmas tree behind me. But yeah, I hope you've had a lovely Christmas. I hope you have a great start of the new year. But yeah, here's to making next year a better year than what this year's been.